Good morning YouTube. It's a freezing old morning here this morning. Gonna winterize some beds in the courtyard and also give you my thoughts on this Japanese steel Hori Hori knife. So stick around and I'll tell you my thoughts. Right, so here we are, in this gorgeous little courtyard. I'm going to be winterizing these beds and giving them a final weed over before winter. So a lot of these plants have all finished now. Things like the geraniums, the rosanna, they've actually kept going and going and going. I've cut them back three times already this year. It's a shame, but I'm going to be trimming this back a little bit, I think. Mind you, saying that, still got so many buds still on there. So many buds still on there. I might leave that, see if the customer can bear it being out a little bit longer, you know, sort of intruding the path in this paved area. Yep, so all of these are going to be cut back. Salvia there has done really well this year, absolutely done fantastic. This is verbena. I love verbena. Some people, you can leave it like this. Most of the seeds would have gone now from them because they are prolific self-seeders. Just seeing if we've got a little tiny one down there, which would have been from this year's growth, and there's another one back there. There's a couple of little ones down there, but I have already moved some from the previous year to another bed already. So yeah, this is pretty much if it's brown, cut it down sort of exercise for these beds. And as you can see, there's lots of weeding to do underneath there, loads of weeding to do. Things like these here, I've already cut them back once, and I tend to, in gardens, when you want to be enjoying them for a little bit longer and you know that you can prolong the life of some of the plants, I do 2-stage cuttings. So like that, I've gone and done one stage of cutting back already. I can do another one when I start to see new growth coming through and it's going into dormancy. And you can see down the bottom there, you can see that it's already starting to come up with new growth right down in the bottom, so I'll feel comfortable that I can start cutting that back completely, you know, to that green. But I wouldn't expect it to be on there yet. So anyway, this is the area I'm going to be working on. Put some gloves on. It's 0 degrees this morning. Get on and do some work. So with these geraniums, they're so hardy. You can actually start dividing them up at this time of year. This one's not big enough to be divided. So what I do is I literally grab the whole lot of the foliage, pull it all round into one, and just cut it off with the shears in one go. And then just shape it up a little bit. It looks quite harsh. With these geraniums, as I say, this is a geranium rosanna. You can well handle it. They can become quite a bully plant. I forget who it was, but there's one of the famous gardeners who said if in doubt what to plant a geranium. They will pretty much take to any ground, let's move that away. Will take to any type of soil. They're very hardy. This daisy's becoming a bit of a bully here. They look lovely all across here when they're coming over this sandstone patio, but a bit of a bully. Couple of hidden ant traps. Let's give these a cut back. Even just separating shrubs defines them separate from everything else. I mean, we don't want to be disturbing these bulbs which are coming through here. I mean, they're alliums, these ones. And you can just, I'll bring the camera forward in a minute, but you can just have a look on the seed heads. I'll show you what I do with them. It's literally just put it all round. See here another self-seeded one to the side. I'm going to leave that there for the time being, but put it in my memory bank because we've got a few other beds that we're going to be working on. So when we're ready with those beds, just literally trowel that one out, and it's a free plant. So these alliums, you can just about see the black in the heads there. Tiny little seeds. So these can just need a little bit of encouragement. What I do is I just snip off, there we are, then you can have a little look. There's all the seed heads. Literally, just feather them out over the bed. All of them, just feather them out over the bed, even if it's just tiny little bits. Spread them out a little bit. And I just finish them off further down. Easy. Right, so when I'm actually doing me sort of winterizing beds, this is even when I'm just generally weeding, I'll show you a little tip what I do just to freshen up the soil. So I've got in my trowel here, in my truck, I've got my little fork. I've also got one of these as well. I don't pay a lot for these. I pay what, like £3-4 or whatever, because I'm always losing them. But I haven't lost any for a while, so I've got a couple that I'm going to use for a little project. But anyway, so the soil looks quite stale. You've just got your fork. I like to literally just rough up the soil. Now if you've got bulbs coming through, this isn't the best way to do it, because you'll tear up the new shoots. So it just looks a little bit fresher. But with one of these, you can get a bigger area on, and I think it just looks a lot nicer. Because you're just going through the top layer. See that with the fork in comparison to that, to how it's compacted. It just looks a lot smarter. There's a bit of verbascum there. Birds would have brought that in, so it's very hardship that that's gone. Anyway, let's continue cutting and trimming up. So when it comes to roses, I do all my harsh cutting back in March. You know, like all that really heavy sort of reductions. But this time of year, all I'm going to do is take out like the little suckers or the little unsightly little growths down the bottom, because I really want to encourage this up. In March, what I'll probably do is strip out this bottom section along here and let it encourage and grub it up onto these wires that we've got. But this time of year, it'll just be deadheading and thinning out along the bottom. I always try and clear up as I go with roses, because if you're going to find a bit of the rose, it's always going to be with your knee or your hand when you're leaning on it. Don't really want this growth coming out over here, so I'm going to remove that. It's been left over the summer months because it's been getting nice weather. And now's a good time to remove it. I've got a heavy cut back in March. Nothing stopping you at this time of year removing any dead or diseased wood at the same time. Just a general tidy up, you know. I'm surprised to see how much dead wood can actually come out of a rose when you start looking at it properly. So, Hori Hori knife. I've had this for a while now. I bought it at a trade show. So we've got a couple of weeds here. You can use it just like you would a trowel. Get rid of this. So we've got this, which has got the typical sort of taproot on it. Morning. I always like to have a bit of a snack at this time of day. And if you're wondering, I try and mix it up. I always have a bit of fruit. And I do pack things to mix nuts. I buy bulk bags. And to put raisins in there, so you've got walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds and all that sort of thing, cashews. I like these bars as well because they've got a bit of sweetness to them. I always sound a bit sweet, a bit of chocolate or something. I've got a little pal following me around. It's a robin that I don't recognise. It sounds silly, but when you work in gardens so much, robins are very territorial. They'll actually see off another robin. This one's quite small and it's got a very V indent in the breast, very quite distinctive. But it looks like a younger bird, very small in comparison to some. It's lovely to watch. This is just one of the privileges of being there he goes, right underneath that verbena. Right, it's been digging. It's so wet over there because of that drain. There's lots of little bugs and beasties, and there's a couple of geraniums over there. And there's loads of woodlice. I've talked about woodlice before, where they're actually not actually insects, but they're classed as crustaceans. So they breathe through gills. But if you're interested, go back and have a little look through my bugs and beasties one. I did a little bit about woodlice on there. Anyway, I'm going to eat my lunch and crack on. Snack lunch. These compost bins here, just bashed together out of some old fence panels that I had from another job. And it's always a very temporary thing, but it's surviving. It saved it going to landfill or whatever. Oh, so cold. Going to landfill or whatever, but you know, I just bashed together two bays with some posts. While I'm down here, you might be wondering why I use a bag and the wheelbarrow. Well, because I'm doing composting and I have a fire area, I don't want to be putting things like roses or wooded waste into the compost. So I try and separate it as I go. Makes it easier down this end. But also I can fit more in the bag than in the wheelbarrow because I've got such a trek going backwards and forwards. I could use ton bags or whatever. Just noticed something down here. Put my glove on. I think something's been playing down here. I've been clearing an area over there. I'll show you in a second. Skull. Fox, you reckon? There's teeth on the front there. There's another one. Put both gloves on, so that one's got better teeth. Same size and look the same. Hello. What was I? Weird, eh? So yeah, that area over there I've just been clearing. I'll spin you around in a second, you can have a little look. That's odd, isn't it? About the same size. What do we reckon they are? I'm reckoning fox. Weird that they're both over here though. Strange. Right, I'll swing the camera around and you can quickly have a look at this area and I'll chat to you what I'm doing with that. Just briefly, there's the compost bins, but this is the area I've been clearing, I have taken some photos, but I didn't bother doing any video for this. So, by the power of magic, there's the photo of what I've been doing on this area. I've also been clearing through this area over here as well. But I've got a photo of that, so I'll ping that up. That should happen. So this area I'm clearing through. I've got all through here to clear as well, all this rubbish. Been de-ivying all these trees. I think I'm going to end up taking down those hawthorns, and I'm going to try and persuade the customer to let me plant a native hedgerow across there, which would be lovely, just to kind of divide the areas. But this, I'm going to be redoing the fence along here and through this bit through there, because it drops down to a ditch into that back field. I'll do a separate video on this, but going to be doing a little bridge across, because these ditches should be like full of water. But as you can see, I had loads of trees just fallen down over the time. There's so much through here to clear out. That's all that's come out from here so far. And lo and behold, there's that little bugger that I've been pulling out and cutting up, digging out up the top in those flower beds. It's all around in these fields. I think it's known as a hedgerow. Oh, look, cat. I wonder if he's been responsible for those skulls. I wouldn't have thought a cat would take on a fox. Only a very stupid one, because I'd put money on fox any day of the week. But he could have come through here and taken them, because this was all overgrown. You couldn't see from these trees back. So yeah. Anyway, that's for another day. That's rather odd. Pine cones there. Yeah, these are all hawthorn and beech. There's no pine in this bit at all. But anywho, right, let's get back up. I've got a little bit left to do on that border. Right, made me way around to the other side of this flatbed. Done a fair bit of cutting back already. Back down on my underneath. This is a constant battle. It's called Heliothrop. I think it's South Africa, I think. It's, as you can see, it spreads all the way through, and there's some bigger version, well, the bigger ones up there of it. Silver Jack Frost there. I mean, it just spreads all the way through. In one of the beds back over that way. Sorry about that. Just had somebody turning up that I tend to. So I've just been cutting back and digging out this Heliothrop weed. Real pain it is. It's grows a bit like bindweed, where you get these extremely long shoots that come out, and I don't think it's as prolific as bindweed, where if you like cut it in half, then that will grow a plant, that will grow a plant. But this bed's always had it and always going to have it, because like over here, it grows down deep into the ragstone wall. That's a bit of a, well, it's a real pest to actually deal with. But that is where, oh, where have I gone to put it? Here we go. That's where the Hori Hori knife comes into play, because you can get down further and closer and better into actually, you can kind of, it sounds silly, you can kind of excavate with it a lot more. I mean, that, I know it's broken off, but I was probably a little bit impatient with it, and if I wasn't holding the camera it'd be better, but I got a good amount of it out. But it's always going to be underneath that wall. The other side was bindweed, and I've been using this to sort of get into the nooks and crannies and sort of poke around and sort of get as much of it out as possible. But it's just a fighting battle. There we are. Right, so there we go. These beds. He's still jumping around. She. Is he there? Yeah, by the bottom of the door. Comes over by that road, hopping around there. Right, so yeah, bed's put to sleep really. On some other customers, I have gone round and put a bit of natural fertiliser down as well. Some of the customers have got horses or what have you. I've gone round to those and you know, just spread it around a little bit, just to keep it a little bit of a boost through. I didn't touch the contoniaster. I didn't touch that. As you see with the mallow, I've just given that a bit of a shape round on there. Just a little bit of a light prune. And what I would like to do, I've got a little bit there. I need to get. Let me just grab me secateurs. I'll give this another reduction. I'll actually give it a reduction in early spring. That was lovely, that choice the other. All nice and tidy. You can see here where I ran this pipe through all around the beds. I've used fabric pegs, like the weed fabric ones, along somewhere, just in various places, just to hold that down. You can see where it just drilled through. I've had to come forwards on this when I put it in because there's a solid back to it, and I ran it all the way through there, out the back. There's one of those fabric pegs, just to keep it down. It's easy to miss stuff at times. So there we are. I haven't cut back the salvias that hard. I've only given them a little tidy up. Didn't cut back the verbena at all, really. Just again another little tidy up, because these are these shrubs could be hit quite hard with the frost. So I've only pruned them up slightly because any of the new growth can get hit by frost and therefore cause knock-on effect for disease, etc. So I've just given it a light prune back, a little tidy up, and then we can go back further early spring on those. And she's just gone through and tidied it all up all around there as well, and just gone around with the blower and tidied up a little bit. Underneath here was lots of periwinkle, still a bit there at the back, but there's also everlasting sweet pea. You might be familiar with sweet pea as an annual which you'd plant up in veg gardens and such, because it's a good pollinator. But the everlasting one grows rampant, but doesn't have a scent to it, doesn't smell. And there you can see I didn't have an end cap for the hose, so I just put a hose pipe fitting on the end there, and it's done the trick. No problems at all with that. So there we are. Anyway, let's have a round up with the with that knife that I was talking about, the Hori Hori knife. Right. Have a bit of lunch while I'm in the car. Oh, right, okay, so you can hear me okay. So this is my Japanese isn't great. Naskyu Special Knife Function Blade, made in Japan. Hori Hori, I think that's what they're called. And if I remember rightly, it means dig, which would make sense. So I've been running with it for a while now, and I bought this at a trade show. So you've got down the actual centre there, different measurements in inches and millimetres. Goes up to 6 inches, 150 mil. It looks like a beach handle, might be wrong. And you've got this sheath. Now if you stuck with the whole video all the way through, I've been doing this maintenance. I said oh dear, I've got to squat down. The worst thing about this really is that it could have done with a band across the back to put it on your belt. It hasn't lasted that great. The leather, plastic or whatever it is has already split. That's kind of to be expected because you've got that serration. Don't know if the camera's picking it up there. That serration down the side. Down there. So what's my overall thoughts about it? It's alright. As I said, I find that the tip's very good for getting in paving. If you're doing a weeding job like I've been doing, and you've got this hard area, you can do scraping along with it. It's been good for getting in between rocks and such, to do a little bit of picking out work. I've liked it that I can dig down in harder ground. I found myself going over the top and pushing with my body weight down into the ground with it, and then you can kind of twist the knife. It's very different from how you would use a trowel, and it has concerned me that whilst I'm doing all this pushing down into the ground sort of park, that I could slip. I haven't, but it just, I don't know, there's something about it where you think if you're pushing down onto it, and that could be your working stuff. Now this blade, okay, that serration there is, it's not sharp. I tried cutting a little bit of timber with it, and it was, yeah, it's not for that at all. This is more, I would say, for decorative, or it might make a difference going down into the soil, but I doubt a great deal. Now, I have been using, I bought this, let's say, back in the early summer at a wood festival from a trade stand that I bought other Japanese steel items. I bought a tuck-in saw, which I've done on one of my, what can you get for under £30, one of my early videos. So it's the same guys that I got this off of. Would I buy one again? Let's be honest, it doesn't do anything a standard trowel doesn't. It's yes, okay, it does go down into the ground a little bit easier. I like to do a lot of my weeding on my hands and knees because I'm over 6 foot. I don't like using a hoe. I'd much rather get down on my hands and knees and do the weeding that way anyway, because I like to rough the soil up like I was talking about earlier. So yes, it's very good. Yes, it's certainly held up with the few months worth of abuse. It's hardly, you know, scratched on it itself. It hasn't bent. I haven't felt like it's going to buckle underneath the weight at all. The ends haven't chipped at all. It does buff up really well. You can tell it's a high quality product. But I don't think I'd buy another one. If I was to lose it, I'm sure I'd be sad, but it's not one of those tools that I'd rush out and have to feel like I'd replace. I think it's a nice looking thing, well made. I think it will certainly last a long time. I think it'd be a nice present if you were to get one of these from someone, or to buy for someone who's a gardener. So in a roundabout way, yes, it certainly does what you want it to. You do feel a little bit like Crocodile Dundee or Johnny Rambo with it. But I don't find it highly necessary to have something like this. It doesn't do anything that a standard trowel wouldn't. But it looks nice. It feels nice. It feels quality. But I have had some customers give me some funny looks when I'm using it. Purely because I think because these things aren't readily available. You know, they're not like in your high street shops. But anyway, I'm going to round it up there because I can talk with Britain. So in a nutshell, yes, I like it. Yes, it's quality. Yes, I'm not sad that I got one. Would I buy another one again? Probably not. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give a thumbs up. The thumbs up does actually encourage. Do you know what? I owe this thing an apology. I've been a bit of a muppet. Just put that back in the sheath. I push that back there, and there's room for it to go on the belt. Silly me. So that could always go onto your belt. So I've got to dismiss and take back. The sheath still isn't great quality, and I don't think that's going to stand up to test of time. I mean, I know I can put a bit of tape around it or whatever, or hot glue, but at least it can go onto your belt. Silly me. But I know when I'm wrong. Yeah, so as I say, give us a thumbs up. If you're feeling really generous, give us a share, because it does boost the desire to carry on and do more videos. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and catch up again soon. I take it all back. I don't like that Robin. Gone for a coffee. Little bastard has gone and crapped over my flask. That's thanks for you, isn't it?